YouTube, Silver Tabby Gaming here, and we are going to finish up the Whitetail missions in this episode. I have my 44 handgun, which is needed for the mission that I'm currently on, and I've also went ahead and put the 243 in my loadout, which is needed for the next one, along with the pump action shotgun. All three of these guns will get used in this episode. The mission after the one that we have to complete first, the very last mission, has us kill bucks with a multitude of different guns. So you will see me switching up the loadouts and probably resetting the map a few times. But I will bring you back when I come across the first buck. Okay, so we have finally found us a buck. He should be right over this ridge. He just grunted at me. And he appeared to be right on the other side of the road, directly in front of us. So once he comes over the ridge, we will take him with the 444 handgun. And by the time he comes over the ridge, he should very well be close enough for us to actually take our shot at him. This gun is quite powerful on the smaller game species. Saying smaller game such as whitetail aren't small, but the smaller the game species is that it is certified for, the easier it is to actually kill them. But also closeness does play a role in it. I wouldn't take him at this range. He would eventually drop, I would think, but it would be a very risky shot. And he looks like he might be a fairly decent sized buck. I don't think he would turn out to be on the leaderboard or possibly even bigger than the ones we've already shot previously on this mission set, but he is a decent size nonetheless. But that also means that we have to keep an eye out for how close he gets. Bigger bucks won't get as close to you even if you're laying down, which I'm in prone right now, as smaller bucks. They'll flee a lot sooner. So let's see what he does. Run it again. He should be almost directly in front of us. Hopefully we'll be able to see him and he doesn't come up behind these trees. And you do not have to worry about spooking off a deer or any animal by using the call. It's not possible. No matter how many times you hit the call, you will not spook the animals like you can in real life. Once he comes over this ridge, we'll have him. hopefully he didn't get stuck on a tree. I have had problems in the past with deer getting stuck on the trees on this map. Small forked trees, they'll try to walk through and they'll just get stuck on it. Which, with him having to come up a ridge, I can't tell. He is definitely taking his sweet time getting over this hill. Okay, so it looks like he might be trying to sneak over to the side a bit. There he is. He's definitely a nice size one. He's got a small drop time, which I believe will actually count toward a deduction. And down he goes. 44 handgun has taken down the deer for this here mission. And now we will, once we finish this one, we will end up taking another buck with the 44. The good thing with this mission set, the upcoming set, is they don't have to be done in the same hunt. So, while I'm only activating one mission at a time to allow... Oh, I don't want to customize it. But this is a new feature. They just had an update today. I didn't want to customize it. There we go. Okay. They just changed the screen. And it was a little bit difficult to actually get it to hover over to sale. So now, let's see if that completed the mission. It should have. Since I was too distracted with the other one. Alright, so now we have to harvest whitetail bucks with specific weapons. One of which being the 12 gauge pump, the 243, and the 44 handgun. So I will bring you back when we harvest our first buck with each weapon, and I will see you then. Okay, so we actually have a pretty good sized buck coming in at this little lake right here. I'm in the tower stand. And he is a max weight, and I believe that is considered potential max score. Once again, I'm not the best at judging the scoring, but I think I'm going to try and take him with the 45. For the reason that there is two handguns that I have to use. Excuse me, 44 and the, let's see, the 3.7 mag. Those are the two handguns that are required for completing this mission. So I will go ahead and take my shot now. first shot seemed pretty good, but the second shot definitely didn't hurt to keep me from having to track it. Okay, we'll grab him and then we'll continue on our trek to find some more bucks. Yeah, it was harder long. The second shot, it wasn't required, but it definitely helped take him down. And he is a very good sized buck. I'll have to see if he is actually my personal best on buck, because if he is, I may take and taxidermize him after this episode. And we'll go ahead and sell him for now. And even if he turns out to be my personal best, I may go ahead and taxidermize him. But you can taxidermize animals within 24 hours after shooting them. So I will check, and I will let you guys know if I end up taxidermizing him. Also, if you're a new player, go ahead and collect any collectibles, whether it be antlers, mushrooms, or the random ones like pots or coins across the maps, because that helps increase your hunter score. Okay, well, I will bring you back for the next buck, which I will either be taking with the 12 gauge or with the 243. Okay, so I have a small buck within shotgun range, so I'm going to go ahead and take him out with the 12 gauge pump. One thing that I'm not sure if I mentioned, all the missions up until the one that I just finished are able to be completed with the basic starting weapons. In the beginning, you're given, I believe, the 243 and the single shot 12 gauge. So you can complete all the missions up until that point with that particular weapon. Pick this guy up. And we will continue on to use the 243. And I did happen to stop by the lodge and get the 357. So I will bring you guys back when we get another buck in sight. Okay, so I have found the next buck for us to shoot. And he is taking a nice little nap. We're going to take him with the 243. I'm not a super big fan of the angle he is at, but we should still be able to take him nonetheless. That should hopefully drop him. This isn't the most powerful gun. Like I said earlier, I'm pretty sure this is the starting weapon. It is strong enough to take them down, but he might require some tracking because of the angle that I shot him at. So once we pick up the track and see what I actually hit, whether it be body or whether I did happen to get a single lung, we will see from that. And then track him down until we find him. It looks like it might just be body blood. And it won't let me pick up this particular track. So let's see if the next track he dropped is actually a blood splatter. Body, but he is dropping health rather quickly. My whitetail tracking skill is finally high enough to show the health percentage on blood droplets. So he shouldn't have made it too far, but I'll bring you back when we find him. Okay, so I've located the buck. He didn't make it too awfully far from where I initially shot him. Well, he just made it over this here small little mountain. So let's go ahead and pick him. I see a deer over there, but I think it looks like a doe. And it is. He didn't make it too far. He is a fairly small buck, around the same size as the last one we shot. And there he is. Hit him in the shoulder blade. If this gun would have been a little more powerful, it would have shot through the shoulder blade into the log. But we'll go ahead and sell him and continue on looking for our next buck to shoot with the 357. I don't know why this gun gives me such a hard time saying its name. Oh, and actually, we won't have to go far. There's one, and he actually looks like he might be a piebald. I haven't seen too many piebald bucks. I do believe I actually shot one bigger than him before. But I have not seen that many male rears. Now, he is quite small, if he actually is a piebald. He looks to be one. And we'll keep crawling because I do not want to spook that doe, and I don't have a bow to take her out when she starts coming in our direction. Now, the 357 is decently powerful, but it's not good for long range, so we do need to get in close to him, or let him get close to us before we take the shot. Now, I don't dislike this handgun, but I do prefer the other one, and this one is about the same animal class as the 44. Now, it's able to shoot a few smaller species because it is a small caliber, but for the most part, on most maps, you're better off carrying the 44. And because he's small, I'm not super worried about him spooking over this hill. still going to where I called, so he should still go to where I initially called. Hear him, but it could also be that doe behind us that is tricking me. If he does spook, I will try to track him down. And there he is, and he is a piebald. And he is down. Like I said, I haven't seen too many rare males. So it is quite nice to actually find one for the video. We'll get a trophy shot with him. As I said in one of my previous videos, I do not have any of the trophy shot poses, so I have to take and drag him around for a bit. And while I love the initial, the concept of the trophy shots, it is quite difficult to actually get them in a decent position. Eventually, I will invest in getting the trophy shot poses. But that's not an investment I'm willing to make quite yet. There we go, got one more. And I don't think I'm going to taxonomize him because of how small he is. I can't say I'm a fan of the new system. Like I said, it was just released today to choose to taxonomize versus sale. I see that's causing a few issues, especially for me and potentially others in the future, because it's very difficult to center that. But I will fast travel to one of the lodges. I may reset the map altogether and pick up the next weapons that I will need. I will see you guys soon. Okay, so I have restarted my map. I have the 30-06, the 300, and in my inventory I have the 270. Now the 30-06 I do not have a scope for. The lever action 30-06 does take a specialized scope, but it is pretty powerful even at range with the iron sight. So I'm not concerned at all about not having a scope for it. But I will bring, and you guys will see my first artist most likely will be with 30-06. And I will show you the next buck I happen to find. Okay, so we have our next buck. I do intend on taking him with a 30-06 if I can. But unfortunately, this specific spot, he's too far in the weeds for me to get a good shot on him. So hopefully we can get him to come in a bit closer. He is a match weight, but he's not a super high scoring buck. He is a pretty decent scoring overall. But he should be easy enough to get into range, I hope. Right, there he is. And as long as I can actually see him, I will be able to take a shot at him easily from here. And down he goes with a 30-06. Fun fact, my brother's first real-life deer, which was a doe, was taken with her father's 30-06. We'll sell him and go ahead and equip the 270, which is actually the gun that in real life I hunt. So I will bring you back when we get our next buck in sight to kill with the 30-06 or the 300. It doesn't really matter at this point. Okay, so we have our next buck in sight, and he is a fairly small looking buck, but he will work for this particular mission. Because I'm working with the base scope, the one that came with whenever you start the Hunter Classic, I will wait for him to get a bit closer before I take my shot. The 270 is a pretty good gun, but just taking a shot with that particular distancing, I don't really want to have to track him for a long ways, so hopefully I can get a better shot on him than I would at that distance. It looks like we actually have another buck a little further off. He's actually a bigger buck, but we will go ahead and take this smaller one. And we didn't drop him, but maybe we can get sights on that bigger one. No. I was hoping to drop this smaller one with one shot, but with him running around in circles like that, he very well might go down within render. The water seems to be messing with his pathfinding. Alright, there he goes. And he's down, and hopefully we'll be able to track down that other buck and hit him with a 300. Now the 300, I will definitely shoot him at a longer range. The 300 is a good bit more powerful than the 270, so he will go down a good bit quicker. It was considered a body shot, so I must have either hit him a little high or a little low. For lungs, I'm thinking more along the line of low based on where I aimed. And we'll go ahead and pick this fella up and then start tracking the other buck that we saw. He didn't look like a monster that would run forever, so we should be able to fairly easily track him down. And here is our small little buck. Okay, and that completes that part of the mission. So the only weapon left is the 300. And I will bring you guys back whenever I find a buck to shoot with it. Okay, so I have my final buck in sight. I don't think this is the same buck as I saw earlier when I shot the buck with 270, but he isn't far from where we were. I am going to end up rushing this shot because I have a doe that is coming up from behind me. And I really don't want her to spook and then spook this here buck. Normally I do try to carry a bow on me to take out any does that aren't going to equivalent to the mission. And he's dead. But with this here mission taking pretty much a good majority of my weight, I decided to go ahead and not worry about carrying the bow. So let's pick him up. And hopefully, unless I miss something, this will complete this mission set. Okay, so that is the end of the Whitetail missions. Not to say I won't shoot more Whitetail before I end up resetting the missions, but let me switch recording over. We have completed all the Whitetail missions. Now, out of all the missions, one thing I do plan on doing on the final mission is saying whether I feel this mission pack is worth actually 100%ing. And for the Whitetail, it definitely is. You get a good number of gems for completing it. And it isn't hard. Now, for the last 2 missions, nice sidearms, and I'll give you a buck for each. You will need to purchase weapons if you're new to the game. You'll need the 44 Magnum. You'll have to purchase 270. The 243 is given to you. The 30-06 300. The 357 Magnum. The 44 Magnum. And the 12 gauge pump. You're given a 12 gauge. You're given free ammunition. But you will have to purchase the pump action shotgun. Now, you won't be able to afford these weapons through just doing these missions alone. You might be able to afford the 44, but I don't believe so. Yeah, no, you wouldn't be able to afford the 44 Magnum through just doing the Whitetail missions alone. But there are plenty of missions you can ultimately complete with just the base game weapons. So that is the end of this episode and the end of this mission pack. I will be starting the turkey missions next. I do plan on going in order, but I may skip the duck missions just for a little while. I don't have a full duck set, so it may take me a little while to get enough decoys to actually be effective on some of the duck missions. It is possible without decoys, but it makes it very hard. So in the next episode, you will see me harvest a male turkey as the first part of the mission. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I look forward to seeing you soon. If you enjoyed it, feel free to hit the subscribe and the notification bell to stay up to date with my future videos. I do plan on trying to do most, if not all, of the missions on the Hunter Classic. Bye!